Ready Player One was directed by Steven Spielberg and written by Zach Penn and Ernest Cline. So Ernest Cline wrote the book that this movie is based on, and Zach Penn wrote films or co-wrote films like Elektra and X-Men The Last Stand. So like, no offense to those guys, but whatever. This is a Steven Spielberg film. What went wrong? This movie is so confused.
This is the Oasis, a whole virtual universe. You can do anything, be anyone, without going anywhere at all.
So the premise of this film is that it's the year 2045. The earth has turned to garbage, basically. People live in these like housing developments that are just stacked on top of each other. It kind of looks like landfill, like it's just a bit dire. My friend who came to the movie and watched this with me said, oh, it looks like a vertical trailer park. I'm like, yeah, that's pretty accurate. To escape the mediocre living situations that people have to deal with, they spend most of their time in this virtual reality universe referred to as the Oasis. And basically in the Oasis, you can be who you want, you can look how you want, you can do whatever you please. There is no limit to the amount of like nerdiness that you can achieve in the Oasis. The creator of the Oasis, James Halliday, has passed away, but before he died he left 3 puzzles that, if solved, would grant the solver? The solver? Is that a word? Grant the solver fortune and also ownership over the Oasis. You guys, this movie should have come out on the first full moon after the spring equinox because it is just like jammed full of Easter eggs. Get it? It's an Easter egg joke. Anyway, the minute the main character Wade enters the Oasis, it is just like a pop culture tidal wave. It is an explosion of references. There's like Hello Kitty and the DeLorean and Halo and like Chucky. There's so much pop culture in this movie. There's also a heavy emphasis on nostalgia, specifically 1980s-esque nostalgia, because the creator of the universe, James Halliday, would have been, I suppose, a teenager growing up in the 80s. And so it is cool to be like, you know, you're watching it and you're like, oh look, there's Duke Nukem. Oh, it's Hello Kitty. Oh, Lara Croft is over there kind of chilling out and having a drink. Like, I like those moments, but this film relies so heavily on pop culture and nostalgia to have a hook in place of like actual character development or a well-written script, perhaps. Take the lead character of Wade, for example. He is this typical teenager living in the slums with his auntie after the death of both of his parents. He is fascinated with the Oasis and in particular James Halliday himself, and is determined to be the winner of James Halliday's quest. He is also completely unmemorable. Like, this dude has not got a single notable like character trait or personality trait. He's just insert generic American teenager male character. And also from a storyline perspective, we know his parents have died. We see like a little bit of him living with his auntie that suggests that maybe his day-to-day living isn't that flash hot, but that's basically it. Like little snippets to show why he might be so interested in the Oasis, but nothing that's even remotely development or gives of this character some sort of drive, motivational, like kind of backstory. There's actually really no attention paid, for the most part no attention paid to the real world, which if they had given some time to it, I think it would have made the Oasis seem more important. If we could see that juxtaposition between like how crap reality is and how awesome the Oasis is, it would put more importance on the Oasis being saved. Olivia Cook plays Artemis, who's Wade's love interest in the movie, and she was okay. I like Olivia Cook as an actress, but again she fell into that generic rebellious female protagonist category to go with his quintessential American male teenager character, which is such a shame that there was no character development there either. There's this one really eye-rolling part between Artemis and Wade where she's in the Oasis, she's dressed up as her avatar, and Wade tells her that he loves her, which by the way, he's known her for like 20 minutes max, but whatever. So he tells her that he loves her, and she's like, if you met me in the real world, then you wouldn't love me. I'm not what I seem, right? So then he goes into the real world and he meets her, and she's got her hair over her eye, kind of like a like Phantom of the Opera type thing going on with her hair, and the wind brushes it to the side and she has this red birthmark over her eye, but it's like basically nothing. It's just like a little bit of red. So then he says to her, you're beautiful, what were you talking about in the Oasis? And she says something like, oh, I've had people lie to me my whole life, you don't have to do it as well. And I'm like, what? Like, girl, chill, you have got a little bit of red. NBD, right? Not a big deal. The bad guy is also pretty standard. Ben Mendelsohn plays Nolan Sorrento, which is a great name. He's this like corporate-y businessman working for this evil corporate company, and they want to take over the Oasis so that they can put advertising everywhere and make money of it. One thing I did like though is that you can be anything you want in the Oasis. Basically, whatever you want to look like, you can look like. Nolan goes into the Oasis and he is a douchebag corporate guy in a suit. Like in his wildest dreams, he's still a corporate douchebag. That's kind of cool. I like that. You know you're in trouble when a film relies on exposition to establish a backstory rather than having something visual explain it, but you're in extra trouble when the same film has 2 lots of the same exposition within the space of like 20 minutes. So in the opening scene, Wade says he lives with his auntie because both of his parents died. And then 20 minutes later, he's like,
But he died when I was a kid. My mom too.
And it's like, yeah, dude, we know. Like, you said that to us in the beginning. Do you not remember? Okay, so I've been a little negative about this movie so far, but there are some really good things in this that I did actually enjoy. Mark Rylance plays James Halliday, and he was incredible. So he's this kind of like socially awkward, a little bit quirky character, and Mark Rylance did a fantastic job. I think he might have been my favourite character in the whole film. TJ Miller makes an appearance, a vocal appearance. He's an avatar in the Oasis, but it's so funny. TJ Miller, you just hear his voice and you're like, it's just a TJ Miller-esque character. He's Silicon Valley TJ Miller, he's Deadpool TJ Miller. You always get the sense that his lines are potentially ad-libbed, which could actually be the case in Deadpool when he was the bartender. I know that they just let TJ Miller do his thing. They were like, yeah, you go off, you've got this. So maybe his lines in this movie were also partially ad-libbed. My favourite sequence of all in this entire movie is when the characters find themselves in the Overlook Hotel from The Shining. That was fantastic. I kind of wish that that was our film, like just them in these various different kind of pop culture worlds with references back to those movies or whatever the case might be. That to me would have been a much more enjoyable film than just like pop culture, pop culture, pop culture. Like, oh, look at all the pop culture in this movie. All in all, this isn't a bad movie, it's just not great. It's somewhere in that kind of murky middle section. I just don't think that Spielberg is the director for these kinds of movies anymore. I think sadly he's comes across as somebody who's trying to make a movie for millennials that millennials will appreciate and understand, but he doesn't understand the subject matter that he's working with. Like, to me, this would have been somebody that could have directed this movie better might have been like Edgar Wright, for example. He's the one that did Shaun of the Dead, Baby Driver, and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. He understands pop culture. He grew up in that 80s era, so he appreciates 80s like film and references, but he also comes across as somebody that might understand kind of the gaming and online reality world that we live in now. This is not Spielberg's genre anymore, sadly. Would I recommend Ready Player One? Yeah, sure, you can go and watch it. I'd say maybe wait till it's out on Netflix and like you could turn it into a drinking game. That would be kind of cool. A drinking game with this movie would actually be like pretty good, I think. I'm gonna give Ready Player One a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think Spielberg is quite past its use-by date. I just think that he needs to stick with movies like The Post and Bridge of Spies. Like, it's okay to sit at the adults table, Steve. You don't have to be at the kids' table anymore. That's it from me today, guys. What did you guys think of Ready Player One? Am I being too harsh? Did you love it? I haven't read the books, so maybe it's one of those movies where, like, if you've read the book, you really appreciate how true the movie is to the book. I don't know. Tell me if you read the book and if the movie lived up to your expectations. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Make sure that you click the thumbs up if you liked this video and tick the little bell icon to see more of my videos going forward. Once again, a massive thank you for watching this video, and if you watched my last one as well, you guys are the best. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to hopefully have a review out for Love, Simon this week and Isle of Dogs later in the week as well, so keep an eye out for those, and I will see you guys for the next one. Caw-caw!